Joyce versus Derek Chisora on July the 27th, less than 2 weeks away. We've mentioned it briefly. Barry, a very important fight for both men. Would a win for Joyce put him back in the mix for some of those big fights at the top of the division on those Saudi Arabian cards?
Yeah, it's in that division more than any other. We've seen it. Derek Chisora is a prime example. You're only one win away from a world title shot, literally, and that's not even figuratively. It can really happen. So, yeah, it has to be a good win. Can't just win. You can't. If he gets over the line, he still gets he still gets a decent fight out of it. But I think if he gets a dominant win, a dominant performance, then he's back in the mix. Not for Usyk and Joshua and Fury, but Kabayel. Zhang's, the people, all them sort of fighters. They're fights that he can be in. Zhang, a third fight with Zhang. We never thought we'd say that, but it might be one of those fights that might get on one of those Saudi bills.
I think I do see Joyce as a big favourite in this fight, and I think he needs to go at Chisora, break him down, and put him out of there, get him out of there, hit him hard, look convincing, because Joyce is no spring chicken, as well as we say, and he's probably only got 2 or 3 fights left, in my view, even though he probably wants to go on forever.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think because the way he's fought throughout his career, taking shots, dining out on his chin, which is fantastic, by the way, until Zhang exploited it. But I mean, that just wears away at you. And we've seen through the history of boxing, you can't dine out on that for the whole of your career. So there are miles on the clock. We say that all today. We've said that, but it's true. That's the case. But again, so he has to do a better job than against Cash Ali. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
that's the job he should have done a lot quicker, and he never. And that's the worry, because if Chisora can get involved in the fight, can make it scrappy, he gets on a roll. Chisora's one of those fighters who looks like he's exhausted from the first bell, but can keep working away. So if you can hurt him early or dominate him behind the jab, then you might be in trouble. And Joyce is not the fastest of fighters. He's easy to hit. Though Chisora is not. I don't think Chisora's a huge puncher. I don't think he punches. I mean, Chisora's a heavy puncher, but he doesn't punch clean. He hits with the inside of his glove. So that's a plus for Joyce. Because if he turned his hand over Chisora, especially with that big overhand right, Joyce might be in trouble because he is a target to be hit. But I think he gets a win. But I do think he labours to it. I think he's another one of those performances where he gets over the line, but it goes the distance, and it's not always a great watch. And he looks slow and ponderous as always, and it makes him a harder sell. But if he gets an inside the stoppage win, then maybe he gets the winner of Jared Anderson, versus Piccoli. There's a fight all of a sudden. That's a really good fight. All of a sudden, that Marcus is valued to maybe getting towards a world title shot. I don't see that, but that could be an angle for him. You just think you're in that mix. Kabayel, European champion, that would be a good the next stepping stone. A really good fighter who's tactically brilliant, by the way, Kabayel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, the trouble is, Barry, at the moment, when you look back, he's a long way, because of what's happened in those 2 fights against Zhang, from the guy that knocked out Joseph Parker, from the guy that jabbed the head off Daniel Dubois. Look where those 2 are now, and look where he is. And in the heavyweight division, in boxing itself, 2 losses on the bounce like that, bad losses as well. It's sometimes it's the optics, and like you say, Joyce needs to do something on the optics for everyone for there to be this change in the way that he's looked at, the way he's viewed. We've got to look at it the other way as well. Del Boy, he keeps soldiering on. It's hard to know when his last fight's going to be.
Yeah, well, it should have been a few years ago. Let's be honest about that. And not that he can't do the job. I don't think he can do the job that he once could do, but he can still do a job good enough to be competitive. That's the worry. But we talk about boxing being a dangerous sport and longevity, and it's not always a good thing in boxing because you're in the sport taking punches for longer. And I think there are signs of a decline with him. There are. I don't want to talk about the term, but there are. And the worry is that, that not so much now. It's a duty of care that we talk about.
Yeah.
But the problem is with boxing, you can't worry about how a boxer's going to be after his career. Because if you start going into that territory, then there's a massive case to ban boxing. because the after effects of boxing are always a good thing. So if we're talking about how you are after boxing, then that puts boxing in a really worrying position, because you have to worry about the fighter as he is while he's active. I think that's all you can judge it on. So if he's passing the medicals, then unfortunately he's allowed to box. But I think for the sake of his future life, all the money in the world is great. But if you can't spend it, if you can't enjoy it, if you can't understand what the money is, if all that money is going towards your health care, what's the point? Life's too short to be risking your life. He's earned good money already. How much is enough? I don't know. I mean, people. But listen. Derek Chisora, as we've seen certainly on the weekend, is his own man. Will do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. So we can keep banging on about we worry about his health, but he's a grown man. He knows what he wants. He knows what he's doing, and it's his choice.
Well, he's got young kids still, hasn't he? Young girls, and I think I remember doing a chilling interview with him for Off the Cuff for DAZN a couple of years back, Barry, where he was literally saying, I could be 6 feet underground in a coffin, I'd still be banging on the coffin for another fight. And it was chilling to hear him say that. And sometimes the call of the warrior is always there and people can't walk away. And because he's become, and we've already said that we will not condone what happened a couple of days ago in Hampstead, where he's headbutted a Deliveroo driver. He's still a cult figure in British boxing, and he loves the limelight and he loves being around, and he always pops up at big events, and it's always great to have Derek around.
But also, erratic behaviour. Erratic behaviour is a sign of problems, neurological problems, by the way. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know, but it's true. You see it with boxing. How many ex-boxers you know? One day they're lovely, next day they're horrible. No, literally, in a conversation they can change. I'm like it, by the way. No, I'm not, without being aggressive, but I'm laughing and jokey, then I'm not so laughing and jokey, then I'm a little bit sullen, a little bit depressed, not depressed, I don't say depressed, feeling sorry for myself. My emotions are like this, more so since I retired. And that has to do with taking punches. I'm fine, by the way, but I mean, you see a lot of boxers, they struggle with it. We're coping with the emotions of life after. I think, and the punches, it's the punches. It has to be. It takes an effect on you. So, look how erratic he is from one day to the next. It's like he'll come over and speak to you one day, and then he won't the next. That's fine, and he might just be like that anyway. People, that might be his character. But what if it is them? It is the damage. Is the telling signs of a problem that's only going to worsen as you get older. By the way, we all listen. You're not as sharp as you used to be 20 years ago. Neither am I. That's age. It's just natural progression. We accept that, but it accelerates when you're taking punches for 10, 15, 20 years of your life. And that's the worry. But you make a choice. Who am I to say that he can't fight? You know what I mean? Would I turn down the money? No, I would not. That's the truth. That's another. So I'm talking on my back end here, because I wouldn't turn down the money if I could keep earning money like that.
So you see both sides of it, Barry.
Well, mate, I'm a hypocrite with it, because I'd be thinking about just keep making money for my kids. That's all I think. That's why I got life insurance. So if I die now, my kids are wealthy.
Yeah.
At the minute, we have nothing. But if I drop dead, I'm worth more dead than alive. It's like how.
Don't
it's like
start that.
It's like a mouse trap in my house. The way my missus leaves stuff for me, so I break my neck. It's ridiculous. But I mean, it's like but I mean, you do everything for your family, for your kids, and that's maybe his thought process. But also, someone's got to tell him, be around to enjoy him, be around to see him grow up, and be around. Just be around. That's worth more than all the money in the world.
Absolutely right.
What are you talking about, mate?
Absolutely right. No, that is absolutely spoken like a father and a grandfather, which we both are. They're talking about heavyweights and taking big punches. The British Boxing Board of Control have elected, just to finish the show today, British Boxing Board of Control have elected to put a rematch between British heavyweight champion Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark out to purse bids. That came out from the governing body's last championship circular. Obviously, in March, these two had a battle royal split draw, O2 Arena in London. Amazing fight. They poured their heart and soul into the contest, didn't they? Both came out with their honour and their valor intact. Their both of their stocks enhanced. But Fraser Clark answered all the questions about him that anyone has ever asked. And it was an extraordinary fight, and we can't wait for number 2, between them. And like you say, heavyweights have to be careful as well how many big punches they take. And they took a lot of punches in that fight. It was unbelievable and almost indescribable right now what you went through, even just watching it, Barry.
Oh, mate, it was great. Bank holiday Sunday. I'm glad. I almost never went, but I'm glad I did. It was the atmosphere was fantastic. It just showed that there's an appetite for Sunday evening boxing, afternoon boxing. It was absolutely brilliant. It really was. And they delivered the fight. And I'm happy it's got the purse. But I think that's a real shrewd move by either one of the camps or both the camps, because it was such an exciting fight. It's guaranteed to be exciting again now. There's a bidding war there. That could end up on any channel, by the way, now.
All with the Saudi Arabians.
Well, who knows where it goes? I mean, I'd like to see that in the UK. I would.
I wanted it on the September the 21st Wembley Stadium card.
Oh, I don't know. I want it on its own.
Right. Okay.
I don't want it. I mean, I was like that with Bivol Beterbiev not being on the 5v5. I want the fight to happen. I want it to be on its own, so it gets its own merit, like you said. I think that fight as well. It's good enough. It doesn't need a great undercard. That fight alone is a brilliant fight to have.
Yeah.
It'll sell out fantastic in the UK. But I mean, there'll be a bidding war now with the three major channels that there's 4 or 5, but the three major channels that are involved in boxing in the UK, they'll bid. They all want to bid big for that fight. The promoters and the channels themselves. So the fighters are going to get good money, but they're going to give us value for that money, so we can't argue with what they're going to get.
What do you reckon second time around?
Well, I thought Wardley was going to win the first fight, and I thought Clark just nicked it. Only just. But
were you looking at your scorecard as you were going along, or was that at the end?
No, I scored it round by round, yeah. I scored it round by round. So, yes,
did you know going into the last couple of rounds where you were with your cards?
Yeah, I did. I did.
It wasn't one of those where watching it you thought it was Wardley, but when you looked at your card, it was Clark.
No, I was watching it. Oh, this is because it was a close fight. I wasn't working either, so I just sat down watching.
Right,
it was it's brilliant. It was a brilliant fight. It ebbed and flowed perfectly. You know, they both had to show everything you need to be a top class fighter, and so you tend to think Clark will learn more from it. So you might make him a little bit of a favourite. But Wardley, if Wardley can just tidy up a little bit defensively, you know, with his athleticism and his willingness
the dog in him, and the dog.
His willingness to want to go there. But but Clark showed that he can go there.
No, he is equal dog.
The difference is, I don't think Clark wants to go there. Wardley wants to go there. Clark will go there if he's forced. But and that's where Clark has to be a little bit smarter, and Wardley has to just be a little bit more defensively, more intelligent, but not enough to spoil the fight. The way I'm talking, what they have to do, it makes it more of a technical affair, and that takes away the magic of the fight. Just do what you did the first time for us. Forget about what you do. Yeah.
I'll never forget. I just had. I think I was doing the broadcast live for talkSPORT, and I just had Wardley pipping it. But I remember, and obviously, listen. Both guys. I love both guys, and I've known Fraser a really long time. And I picked Wardley to win as well. And it's very hard when you're friends with fighters and you pick against them, because it's not. I never pick on heart. I always pick on my head. And it might not mean that's who I want to win, but that's who I'm picking. And you know that yourself. And I remember saying to Fraser Clark when he walked into the after party at the Intercontinental Hotel, there was this huge round of applause for him. Yeah, everyone was having a little drink afterwards. It was kind of after midnight. He walked in, huge round of applause. The whole place went quiet, and everyone was applauding him. And I got a chance to speak to him about half an hour, 40 minutes later. I only had a couple of minutes with him. I just didn't want to interrupt him too much. And I just went over to him and said, you know that applause you got just there when you walked in here? You'll get that at home in Derbyshire. You'll get that when you walk down the street in London. You'll get that in Las Vegas when you walk down. In any fight town when there's a fight going on, people are going to adore you for that moment that they witnessed in time, and it will never be forgotten. Please be proud of yourself. Because he was going, I'm so disappointed with. I said, please be proud of yourself, because those are the things that people remember forever. They will remember that fight forever. Yes, and it's as simple as that for me.
Look, we've been around. Look, we've been in boxing a long time, so we've been around, seen some of the best fights, in the last 20 odd plus years. And that was it was one of the best fights I've seen for a long time live. It was fantastic for heavyweight. It was certainly one of the best fights I've seen as a heavyweight match. It was fantastic.